If you're questioning if we've done this one before, the answer is yes, we have. But I've said this before and I'll say it again. So many stories have so many other paths they can take. You think I'm just gonna let those stories go to waste when we can do so much more with them? Nah, I want to do something more with this one. I loved the original video so much. A new type of Kurama that becomes friends with Naruto out of the gate. Those highly emotional stories always get me flowing when I make them, so that's what I want to aim for again. I hope you'll join me as we reimagine a world where Kurama befriends Naruto. Welcome to the Amagi. Only 25% of our viewers are subscribed, so if you're a fan of the video, please like and double check if you are subscribed. And with that out of the way, let's get into the video. Emotional pain is not something that should be hidden away and never spoken about. There is truth in your pain. There is growth in your pain, but only if it's first brought out into the open. Stephen Aitchison. Let me tell you something. In the lives of every man, we once face the reality that the world dictates what it means to be a man. Emotional dissonance forms inside of us as we're told what being a man is. How being a man is to always be strong, to be stern, to bottle up all the weak emotions and hide them in a bottle. Every man must be All Might, smiling triumphantly, and if not All Might, then Batman. The stereotypes tell us that emotions are weaknesses and must be curbed, controlled, hidden. But wherein does true strength lie, if not in the strength to be weak? Does that sound contradictory? The human heart is an emotional thing, each emotion carefully crafted and given to us for a reason. We get angry. Men are allowed to get angry, supposed to get angry. But anger is also an emotion. One also formed out of pain, as much as sorrow and tears. But whereas sorrow and tears are pain internalized, anger is pain externalized. It is pain transferred. That doesn't seem very strong to me. It's pain being forced upon others. But at the same time, internalizing all of your pain is unhealthy too. So what is the proper course? If becoming a man is to become responsible, then what is the responsible way to deal with your emotions? If externalizing pain through uncontrolled anger is irresponsible, and bottling up pain is irresponsible, then what is the best way to deal with it? What if you mixed the two? Anger externalizes in an ugly way. Sorrow internalizes in a dangerous way. But what if you could externalize it without hurting anybody? This is what the tear is. This is what requires strength. It takes strength to cry before someone else, to show them your weakness and admit you're not all-powerful, to relinquish your pride long enough to admit that you're not okay. And it's a dangerous thing to do. Society has brainwashed us, told us what being a man is, that tears are unmanly, but even Jesus cried. Would you call him unmanly? Tears aren't weakness, they're strength, to show a side of yourself that people might judge in hopes that one person might see them. I think it's because of the toxic stereotypes that exist that men are viewed differently than they really are. Inside every man is a little boy, and we hide that fragile part of us with a thick shell. Sometimes we hide it so well that people don't even know it's there. All they see is the bravado, the rough side. Some think men can't feel the same way as others, but they're wrong. Men feel. They feel a lot, actually. As much, if not more, than others in some cases. But the pressures of society strip away the ability to express it for fear of judgment. But it's there. Whether one wishes to admit it or not, there is not one person on this earth who has not cried at least once. And despite what the world may say, those tears are valid. Those tears are okay. Those tears are an expression of the soul, of who you really are inside, and they shouldn't be hidden. This is revealed here in the shape of a small fox. There was once a great and powerful tailed beast, a nine-tailed fox, wise and courageous, named Kurama, a guardian to the world, to all of creation. But somewhere along the way, he lost himself. Pain welled up, anger, hatred. All of his pains stripped him of his trust for humans, and this pain was unable to be bottled anymore. It was externalized in the most ugly of ways. The birth of a child is supposed to be a joyous occasion, but the endless cycles of hate, the issues within the world system sought to ruin such a beautiful moment. That child was born, and the monster that had been held there behind the gates for so long was pulled out. Pure rage. The most unhealthy emotions, bottled in the most unhealthy way, spilled out in a way that shook the village to its core. Betrayal, anger, physical pain, sorrow. All of these melted into the stirring pot to form a toxic waste so powerful that it threatened to consume the world. Even now, Kurama's body ached from those stakes that had held it down. Each heartbeat throbbing in his hands, feet, belly, at the end of each tale. The feeling of having been pierced straight through after having done nothing to deserve it. Slavery, persecution, mistreatment. Kurama was angry, and who could blame him? Even anger had a place in the human heart, the most dangerous of all emotions. Every gift given to a human turned to a weapon like a force of nature, like a hurricane threatening the coast. In anger, there was weakness too. The hardest kind of weakness to help because it was the weakness that wouldn't let you come close to it. A pain maybe you wanted to help. A pain you couldn't touch because it hurt the others too much. Kurama was feeling this now. Just as before with Madara, all of the pains were given a funnel via genjutsu. It wasn't hard to control this fox and force it to hurt others because that desire was already there. The pressure inside was already so great. All it took was a question. Will you do it? And the fox did it. But the fourth Hokage, strong in his own right, knew he couldn't let the village suffer, and through his own sacrifice, he decided to seal away the Nine Tails, putting it inside of his child. But feeling its pain through the Reaper Death Seal, feeling its anger and sorrow, he knew it was too much for the child. So he began ripping away, stripping the fox down to its core elements. Inside of every man there is a little boy, hiding in a self-made bunker of bravado, playing with fire, burning itself and turning the bunker to protect it into a furnace to burn. Was it wisdom or pure coincidence that brought Minato to this decision? Who knew? It wouldn't be important for much longer. Whatever it was though, Minato began to dig it out, shattering through the man into the very heart of a child. The very heart of a little fox cub hiding in the body of a kaiju, ripping it free. The larger, imposing creature sealed into Minato. What was left, the bare emotion without any further defense, locked inside of Naruto. Minato viewed it all like a warden who was now locking the beast, far smaller, no larger than he himself, into the cage. The fox, no longer lashing out with roars, now screamed, cried, and shook the bars. "Why do you keep doing this to me?" it shouted in sorrow, its large red eyes tear-stained. "I just want to go home." For the first time ever, Minato began to feel bad for the fox. What he once viewed as the devil itself, he now saw in truth, the core of its being. "I never did anything to anyone, so why do you keep locking me up? Why can't I go home? What did I do wrong?" he cried out, slipping down the bars to the ground. Minato knelt down by the cage. Maybe its emotions were getting to him. Maybe he could feel its pain through the chakra he absorbed, or maybe he was simply empathizing. He reached out to pet the fox's head, but it jerked away and attempted to bite him. "I hate you," the fox shouted. "If I could kill you right now, I would. I hate you and I want you to die," it shouted, its anger only a weak and feeble attempt to mask. The weakened fox had been exposed, the most vulnerable part of its soul laid bare, and now that rawness, that aching embarrassment was howling inside of it as it desperately tried and failed to build a new bunker to hide in. To prove it wasn't weak, but strong. It was miserable, pitiful. But alas, Minato left the beast alone. He didn't have much of a choice. The Reaper demanded payment for its services, and Minato now had to pay what was due. In darkness, the fox was left to cry. And that was that for the next few years. Anger gave way to sorrow. Sorrow gave way to depression. And depression gave way to an unending silence. Near insanity, the fox's solitary confinement saw the passing of days, unmarked by food, the sun, or anything. All the fox could do to count was counting how many times it slept. Kurama began to resent its life, hoping to die, wishing it had never been born. But unbeknownst to Kurama, at about this time, there was a child feeling the same way. Was it fate? Had their pain drawn them together? Who could know? But the truth was, as Naruto lay in his bed, a rough day, a blackened eye, and a heart so low it dragged behind him on the ground, had crawled into bed to sleep, thinking the exact same way as Kurama. What was the point of life? the point of living, the point of being cursed to walk this path without end in a world that did not want him. As he attempted to dream, his thoughts kept him lucid, and in that moment he found himself in a place unfamiliar to him, before a cage, and inside of that cage, something else was crying beside him. He drew closer to the cage to see something small, about his height, facing away from the cage, crying. Wiping his nose, he grabbed onto the cage's bars and spoke. "Hey." The creature seemed to stop crying as its back straightened up a little, its head rising slightly as if to question what it just heard. "Are you okay?" Naruto asked. The creature looked back, its tear-stained face looking on in confusion. It hadn't had this happen before. Was this some illusion? The boy was naive, didn't understand the situation or the cage they kept the fox in, and due to the size of the bars, merely slipped right through them into the cage with him. Kurama took a couple cautious steps back. Naruto slowed his approach. "I'm sorry. I didn't mean to scare you. You just sounded so sad, and I wanted to know if you were okay." Kurama sat there for a moment. Wiping his eyes, he spoke. "I'm okay." Naruto sat there for a minute. "You don't sound okay." Kurama shrunk back into the shadows a little deeper. "I'm fine, but why are you here? How did you get here?" Naruto shrugged. "I don't know. I was trying to sleep and I just sort of woke up here." The fox looked at Naruto for a while before speaking. "Are you hurt?" the fox asked. Naruto tried to understand what he meant and then remembered that his eyes were nearly swollen shut, black and bruised. "I don't know," he said as he sat down in the cage. "How do you not know?" the fox asked curiously as it drew a little closer, desire to understand this human creature increasing with each passing moment. Naruto spoke. "My eye is bruised and it hurts, but it'll probably get better by itself." "So then, you are okay?" Naruto shook his head. "I'm not." Kurama tilted his head questioningly. Naruto continued. "I got beat up today." "Kids at school?" Kurama asked. Naruto shook his head. At that, something strange hit Kurama. "Did your parents do this to you?" "I don't have parents," Naruto said. Kurama was confused. Then he thought about it. "Wait, are you Naruto?" The boy nodded. Kurama realized that this was the Jinchuriki that had been holding him. A dark and evil thought crossed his mind. "If I were to kill him right now, I could be free." His claws began to dig into the ground as the temptation grew. Naruto then spoke. "I was walking home and a bunch of older guys grabbed me and pulled me into an alley. They began to hit and kick me, telling me I was some demon that killed their friends. They said they hated me and wished I was never born." Kurama's claws began to relax as the conversation began to become a bit more interesting to him. "Maybe they're right. I kinda wish I wasn't born." Kurama sat there and looked down. "I kinda wish that too," he said. Naruto looked up. "You wish I wasn't born too?" Kurama shook his head. "No, I mean, I wish I wasn't born." "Why?" Naruto asked. "Well, I didn't always used to live in this cage. I once lived outside. I lived in a forest where I could run around and play and do whatever I wanted and have fun. But then a guy with really strange eyes appeared and made me do things I didn't want to, and I was ultimately put inside of a woman for punishment. And when that woman died of old age, I was locked inside of another woman until she died. Then I was used as a weapon again by another man with similar eyes, and in the end, I was locked inside of you." Naruto listened to Kurama's story. The fox looked down. "I get it. I hurt a lot of people, but I never really meant to. For so many years, I've been attacked, hunted, and betrayed. Then these guys preyed upon my anger, and I couldn't help but do what I did. I didn't want to, but it was like someone else was driving, and I was just the passenger. No, I was in the trunk." Kurama couldn't help himself. He began to cry again. As his tears dripped to the ground below, he felt so cold. The world was so cold, and his body was in shock from the mistreatment he was going through. It was then that a hand reached out, soft and gentle. It held his cheek as the thumb slid from the side of his snout across the area below his eye, catching the tear and wiping it away. Kurama's eyes opened as he looked to Naruto, who himself was crying. "I understand what you're going through. I'm sorry," Naruto said. Validation. That's what Kurama felt right now, validation. And it made him cry even more, lowering his head until the boy caught it and pulled it into his embrace. Kurama had spent generations bottling this all up inside, trying to cover it, trying to hide it. Now he could finally let it all out. For the first time since the Sage of Six Paths, there was someone who could understand him, who would care. And from here on, it became a common thing for the two of them to share stories. As Naruto would try to sleep, he would slip back into his unconscious to see Kurama over and over again. Eventually, it came to the point where Naruto offered a question. "Why do I have to keep you in here anyway? Why can't I let you out?" Kurama looked down and away. "Because it keeps me in. If I could leave freely, I could take my chakra with me, and without it, you would die." Naruto drew closer. "Kurama, would you do such a thing to me?" Kurama shook his head. "No, I like you. You're different from the other human hosts I've had. None of them ever bothered to help me. They only tortured me." "Torture?" Naruto asked. Kurama shrugged. "Well, I don't think it was their intent to be cruel. It just was. Frankly, the way I've been sealed differs from person to person. My sealing into you is by far the most pleasant, but inside of my last host, your mother, by the way, I was sealed. Hurt. Really bad." "What happened?" Naruto asked. "The seal created a small planetoid of sorts, about the same shape as me. A miniature Chibaku Tensei, I'd guess. And as I was sealed in, I was pressed against it. It was uncomfortable to say the least, and I couldn't even move away from it due to the chains. But as if that wasn't enough, the seal also included various massive stakes. They drove them through my hands, feet, tails, and abdomen. As I said, I don't think they meant to be unusually cruel. It was just the way the seal was built. They couldn't really help it, but it did hurt." Naruto couldn't help but feel overwhelmed by the knowledge of what Kurama had gone through. "And you suffered that for years?" he asked. Kurama nodded. "I could never properly heal because the wounds were always open. It's why I still have marks from it. Normally, I have near perfect regeneration, but because the wounds were so old when I finally got the chance to heal them, there was already scar tissue, meaning that these marks are now forever a part of me, a reminder that I'll never be the same." Naruto didn't know whether he wanted to cry or rage. In the end, he made a choice. Standing up, he ripped the tag from the cage that was holding the seal closed. Naruto began to open it. "What are you doing?" Kurama asked. "I'm tired of being silent while you suffer," Naruto said. "I don't care if you kill me. I won't partake in this anymore. You're free to leave as you will." A moment later, the cage opened. Naruto stood there. Kurama was stunned. "Why would you do this?" Naruto hugged Kurama. "Because I know how it feels to be mistreated, and I won't let you be mistreated anymore. If you decide to leave and I die, can I ask one thing? Please remember me." Kurama shook his head. "I won't leave you like that. You're the first friend I've had in 1,000 years. I want to stay with you. Then that choice is also yours. Whatever you do from this point on, I want it to be what makes you happy." Kurama was surprised by the kindness of this child. Kurama vowed to stay close to Naruto forever, swearing loyalty to him as the one who would be his guardian, his protector. And as time moved on, Kurama was more free to come and go from Naruto's body. How many nights did Naruto and the fox snuggle up for rest together? If anything, it was the most adorable thing you'd ever see. None truly knew what was going on, but if they had known, they would be surprised. Maybe, in some way, Minato could see this through the sealing of a majority of Kurama's power inside of him. Perhaps this was always the plan he had for the little Ninetales. Whatever it was, the monster that had scared and killed so many was now essentially of the temperament of a plush animal. The bond he had formed with Naruto so deep that he trusted the boy more than he had any regular human, save the sage himself. That being said, the village was not yet ready to see the Ninetales again, and so Kurama agreed to stay inside of Naruto until Naruto told him it was okay to come out. Kurama tended to do his thing during the daytime hours when Naruto had to go to the academy and would come out a very specific time the two had set up, generally at about 5 p.m. when Naruto was certain he'd be home and nobody would see it. There, Naruto would enter his subconscious again and tell Kurama he was allowed to come out and play with him. During such occasions, Kurama would take the form of a small fox cub about knee-high to Naruto. Together, they would play games, watch television, and enjoy their time together before heading to sleep. The two were inseparable, not just because Jinchuriki can't live without their tailed beast, but in a less literal sense. They were best friends, and due to Kurama's influence, Naruto would be able to withstand the harsh words of others. He wasn't as lonely anymore. However, as Naruto is returning home one day, he's once again dragged into that same alleyway as before. A sudden gut shot puts him on the ground. A couple shinobi have some unfinished business with the boy. Kicking Naruto against the wall, Kurama senses something is wrong. Tapping into Naruto's senses, he sees that he's being assaulted by a group of angry shinobi. Vengeance and a killer's intent locked within their eyes. Kurama, despite it still being public, pulls out of Naruto's body in a bit of a larger form, his claw shredding open the flak jacket of the shinobi with a roar, marking the man's chest to the bone below, blood pouring from the wound. The others see the Ninetales' form and panic, beginning to run away. Kurama looks down at Naruto and sees him crying, his eye blackened and swollen again from the heel of the shinobi. He's clutching at his stomach from the pain. "Naruto, are you okay? It hurts, Kurama." Kurama can't leave him here like this, and even though he'll be in the public view, he wants to help Naruto, so he loads the boy onto his back and dashes out of the alleyway, carrying him through the streets, citizens each seeing him and panicking. "It's the Ninetales!" they shout. Some throw things at him, but Kurama can't stop now. He rushes through the crowds back to Naruto's place. Getting inside, he carries Naruto to his room and lays him down on the bed as the boy continues to cry. "Let me see your eye," he said. He notes that it's bruised and many vessels in it are busted, but it should heal on its own. Checking his stomach next, he could tell that Naruto wasn't bracing for this attack, and fear began to run through Kurama's heart that maybe they busted a vital organ. Kurama was no doctor, and he couldn't be certain of what might be wrong, but he knew that he had regenerative powers that could be used to heal nearly any wound, and he hoped that if he shared some of that chakra with Naruto, maybe the boy's pain would dissipate. Crawling behind Naruto's head, he let the boy use him as a pillow, wrapping all 9 of his tails around him to both keep him warm and share his chakra. Naruto's crying slowed until he seemingly fell asleep, but as you know, word travels fast. Kurama had made a rather public reveal, and that reaches the Hokage, who gathers the Anbu and a sealing team. If the Ninetales had escaped, they needed to seal it again. With the sensory unit keeping their feelers out, they found a trail and led the others to where they felt Kurama's energy. They invaded Naruto's apartment and burst into his room. Kurama instinctively stood, causing Naruto's head to drop, waking the boy. Kurama jumped down onto the floor to defend Naruto from the Anbu who had come, but as he did so, the sealing team began to do their thing. Finishing their hand seals, black markings surrounded the beast and then shot from the ground, wrapping around Kurama like chains. Naruto quickly shot off the bed to stand between Kurama and the Anbu. "Stop it! Don't hurt him! Get out of the way, kid!" "Stop!" Naruto shouted. "That thing's a monster, kid! It'll kill us all! Get out of the way!" Naruto hugged onto Kurama. "No, he's not a monster! He's a good person!" One of the Anbu grabbed Naruto by the arm and began to pull him away. Kurama called out for him. "Naruto!" he shouted. He tried to break through the sealing formula chains to get to him, but immediately one of the Anbu pressed a piece of paper to Kurama's head. Suddenly, he felt drowsy. "My chakra, it's..." He then fell down as Naruto screamed for him. Darkness overtook Kurama as he passed out. How long he was out, he couldn't know. But when he finally awakened, he was in a dark room, only illuminated by candles. In each corner of the room was a very nervous sealing team member. Kurama tried to move, but found himself still held down by a powerful sealing formula that sprouted from a massive circle he was sitting on. It was sapping him of his strength. He couldn't break free if he wanted to. It wasn't much longer that the door opened and a man walked in. At first, all Kurama could see was a shadow. As the man drew closer to him, however, Kurama recognized him as the 3rd Hokage. "Where is Naruto?" Kurama asked. "Safely away from you. Honestly, I'm shocked. I've never seen a Jinchuriki survive losing their tailed beast. How that happened, I'll never know. Even an Uzumaki shouldn't have chakra reserves like that." Kurama laid there silently. Sarutobi continued. "Regardless, you're going to be sealed up once again. This time into someone else. Someone more responsible with you. Someone who won't be swayed by your lies so easily." "I didn't lie to Naruto." Hiruzen nodded his head with a judgmental sigh. "But you did. Naruto told me what you said. Do you truly feel no shame in using a little boy like that, in convincing him to let you out? Would you truly be willing to kill someone so innocent for your own personal gain?" Hiruzen asked. Kurama shook his head. "No, I'd never kill Naruto. I would always stick with him. I want to protect him." Hiruzen scoffed. "Protect? You are the one who killed his parents. You are the one who nearly destroyed the village. Naruto is hated because of you. Everything bad this boy has experienced is because of you. Honestly, in some ways, this is a blessing in disguise. Since it's obvious Naruto can live without you now, we can transfer you to someone else who can actually use you to your greatest potential, and Naruto can finally live a normal life." Kurama listened. "We are thinking of sealing you into Yamato. After all, he's not only a skilled shinobi and a member of Anbu, but he's also the only one in the village who possesses Wood Release, the one release that the first Hokage could use to control you. With this power, you'll have no choice but to cooperate with your new Jinchuriki. What will happen to Naruto? Kurama asked. Hiruzen offered a chuckle. As if you care. For your information, we're going to hold a public sealing. We're going to display you in front of the whole village before triumphantly sealing you inside of Yamato. People will realize that you and Naruto are separate and that you're no longer a threat. Naruto might finally be accepted. His story will only become happier without you in it. But my story will become worse, Kurama said. Hiruzen thought about it. If you mean you're going to be sealed away by a seal stronger than any you've seen before, you're right. You will be unable to move, unable to talk, unable to do anything but comply with every command Yamato gives. So enjoy what little time you have outside of your Jinchuriki. It will be the last time you're allowed to do so. Hiruzen turned to leave. As he did, he left Kurama to reflect upon his words. Kurama realized that Hiruzen hadn't lied to him. It was true. Kurama was the villain in Naruto's story. How could he be so foolish as to think he could be anything more than that? As he reflected on his time with Naruto, he smiled. But the truth was, he cared deeply for the boy, and he always knew that the only way Naruto could have ever been happy was without him. Perhaps he foolishly thought that their secret happiness could last forever. But sadly, this was not so. Even if Kurama had remained, Naruto simply would have died of old age, just as Mito had. In the end, their story was destined to end tragically for Kurama. But it didn't have to be that way for Naruto. If Naruto could be happy for the duration of his life without Kurama, even if it meant Kurama needed to suffer, maybe that was okay. Eventually, Kurama was wheeled out, still being sealed and held down. He was pushed down the road in front of everyone in the village. They jeered him, scolding him, throwing things at him. It was painful, yes. Embarrassing, but it was okay. As he went by, he saw Naruto watching with tears in his eyes. He offered Naruto a smile of reassurance, as if telling him not to worry. It would be okay. As Hiruzen stood there, he held Naruto's hand tightly. "You are going to be free from your mistreatment, Naruto," Hiruzen said. "Doesn't that make you happy?" But as he watched the people abuse Kurama further, something in him broke. Pulling free from Hiruzen's hand, he ran toward the beast, through the crowd, jumping on top of Kurama to cover him with his body. Naruto took the shots from the things people were throwing at him. "Get off, Naruto!" "No, I won't let them do this to you. You're not bad," he screamed out. "Get that kid away from there," one of the shinobi said. One of the Anbu ran over to grab Naruto and pull him away. Naruto pulled away from the shinobi and screamed out to the crowd. "Stop!" his voice echoed out, drawing a silence from the crowd as the insane little child cried for a demon. Hiruzen raised a hand to stop the shinobi before offering a bit of a smile. Naruto continued. "None of you know Kurama like I know him. He's not bad, he's good. He's just had bad luck. If you knew his story, you'd know who he really is." Someone from the crowd spoke out, enraged at Naruto's statements. "We do know who he is. He killed our family members, our friends. He uprooted lives, destroyed businesses. He took everything from us." Naruto then spoke. "It wasn't his fault. He didn't mean to do any of that. He was under a genjutsu." The people began to boo him and the beast. "It's enough, Naruto. You don't have to defend me anymore," he said. "Kurama, I don't want you to go away. I know, but it's for the best. The people hate you only because of me. Without me, you could have a normal life. You could have friends even. All you have to do is let me go. Let me do this for you. No, I don't want a normal life. I don't want friends." Naruto's outburst caused the crowd to go silent again. Naruto continued. "Kurama, when everyone made fun of me, you were there. When people beat me up, you were there. I don't want to live a normal life. And if people hate me because I love you, then let them hate me. You're my best friend, and anyone else who can't be friends with you can't be friends with me. Nobody knows you like I do. I'd rather have you than the whole world." Kurama was touched by his words, tears forming in his eyes. "Naruto, it's not either of our choice anymore. They'll never understand what I've been through or why I did the things I did, and that's okay. If they hate me, then I deserve it. That man, he's right. Even if I didn't mean to, I ruined a lot of lives, but I won't ruin yours. I can't ruin yours. Please, let me go, Naruto. Let me atone for what I've done to this village by serving it with this Yamato guy. But I don't want to lose you. You're my best friend," Naruto said. "And I'll continue to be your best friend, even if we're far away." Hiruzen looked out to the crowd, who seemed to be watching intently. It was here that he began to tug on his earlobe. It was at that moment a set of shuriken flew through the air and struck the flak jackets of the ones holding the seal. A rogue shinobi appeared, racing toward Naruto with a dagger. "Filthy kid! Demon lover!" He raised the blade as if to strike Naruto down. It was then that Kurama pushed Naruto down and covered him with his own body. The blade passed through Kurama's back. Before the shinobi could strike again, he was tackled to the ground. Kurama fell on his side as Naruto sat up. "Kurama!" he shouted as he held him close. Kurama's chakra had been sealed for a while, and it was impeding his regeneration. As he bled on the ground, the villagers couldn't understand what they were watching. The Ninetales had saved the boy. Why would it do that? Surely it knew that there was no changing its fate. "Please, someone help!" Naruto cried out. "I don't care if you hate me forever, just save him!" It was then that Hiruzen approached. "It's okay. His regeneration will kick in. He just needs a little boost." He put his hand on Kurama and infused a bit of chakra. Immediately, the wounds began to heal. Hiruzen looked back at the others in the crowd. He had them right where he wanted them. It was clear on their faces that they were beginning to understand a new way of thinking. He spoke. "What if we're wrong about it?" he said. "I don't understand why this creature would selflessly throw itself in the way of a human that it supposedly hates. We know that night that we saw the Sharingan in the beast's eyes. What if Naruto is right? What if it didn't have any control? Have we been hating it for no reason?" Hiruzen looked to Naruto, whose white shirt was now covered in blood. As he stood there, his eyes still running with tears, Kurama, barely conscious at his feet, Hiruzen spoke. "Look, what have we been doing to this child?" A powerful symbol. The blood on the boy's shirt and blood on his hands. It was symbolic of the blood on everyone's hands. Naruto is not the Ninetales, yet he's been treated like a demon. The Ninetales itself was under the control of someone else, and yet it receives all the hatred. We've all been hurt, and are searching for someone to carry the blame. Even I did. I lost my wife the night the Ninetales was released, and we all lost the fourth Hokage and his wife. But in our swiftness to cast blame, who did we hurt along the way? How many other lives did we ruin? The Uchiha. Naruto. Are we truly any different from whoever did this? Worse still, was their goal all along to turn us against ourselves? Perhaps they succeeded. Hiruzen looked back at Kurama. He may be responsible for the deaths of those we held close, but it's clear before our eyes that he's not the evil monster we thought he was, and Naruto isn't the demon we treated him as. Hiruzen stood. Honestly, after seeing their bond, I've changed my mind. There's nobody more fitting to hold the Ninetales than Naruto. Hiruzen then told everyone to begin cleaning up the area. The sealing ritual was off. As Naruto held Kurama, the fox began to wake up. "Naruto, I'm here," said the boy as he hugged him tightly. "Hiruzen said I could keep you," Naruto said. "But what about everyone else? Won't they hate?" He looked to the crowd to see their faces. They were moved by the scene. Hiruzen looked to the fox and spoke. "Maybe you should tell them what you told me, what you told Naruto." Kurama managed to sit up. He then spoke. "I know you probably don't want to hear from me, but I feel I owe you all an explanation." He began to tell the story, briefly explaining the era between the sage and the village's foundation. He continued by explaining how he was sealed by Hashirama, careful not to paint Hashirama as a villain. He explained how he was controlled by Madara, sealed into Mito, and then transferred to Kushina. He explained in detail how painful it was, showing the scars on his body and expressing how he felt during that time. He explained how he was pulled out and how he was cast under genjutsu by a man with a mask and a Sharingan. He explained exactly what happened. "And so, in that, I am guilty of what you say. I don't deserve your forgiveness, and so I won't ask for it. But if I were to say one thing to you, it would be that I'm sorry. And if you are to hate anyone, then hate me. But do not mistreat Naruto. He didn't choose to be my Jinchuriki. He was a choice made of necessity. His sacrifice would have saved your village if I were truly out to destroy it. So I ask that you all turn your hatred toward me and leave Naruto alone." Kurama held out his arms as if to take it all on the chest, but slowly, one by one, the villagers began dropping the things they were going to throw. It seemed that they had changed the villagers' minds. They all left, and Naruto was allowed to go home with Kurama. Later on, Kakashi would approach Hiruzen in his office, dropping his disguise as the rogue shinobi. "I think it went rather well," he said. "You played your role masterfully, as always, Kakashi." Kakashi offered a bow and thanked him. "I'm just glad we could convince the villagers to stop harassing Naruto." But if I may, was it necessary to leave Naruto and Kurama in the dark about your plan? Hiruzen nodded. It was. You see, I wanted to test them. I needed to be sure that Naruto and Kurama's words were real. I needed to be certain that the Nine Tails was being truthful and wasn't using Naruto. I'm convinced that he's not. Further, their reactions needed to be real enough to sell it. I think that worked out in our favor. Kakashi nodded. Well, I'm glad it all worked out all right. I'm sure Minato-sensei would have wanted this. Elsewhere, Naruto and Kurama were finally able to return home. And for the first time in over 24 hours, they were allowed to sleep. Naruto was laying on the bed, using Kurama as a pillow. Kurama looked down at Naruto with a smile and then covered him with his tails to keep him warm. With a smile on his face, he began to drift off as well. Two hearts, once broken, now mended by a mutual show of caring. Only when both were strong enough to admit that they were weak could they cover for each other and push themselves farther than either of them ever could have by themselves. Wasn't that just the best story? I gotta get a hanky or something. But anyway, I guess this video really is sort of an important one. Maybe nobody needed to hear this. In this day and age where people are more aware of mental health, people are far more open to understanding. But sometimes it's important for others, whether you're a man or a woman, to know that it's okay to allow yourself to be weak every once in a while. You are not a robot, and it doesn't make you any less of a strong person to be able to cry. As a man myself, I've also faced that stigma of what it means to be a man. I've faced it in public, online, everywhere. But I've learned, with the help of supporters near me, that it's okay to let yourself be emotional. And I guess I just wanted to let everyone know this too. Just as bravery is being afraid yet acting anyway, the same is true for emotional strength. Emotional strength is to feel those feelings, let them out, and continue living anyway. But just as we need food, water, and air to live, we all need love as well. Real love. The kind of love that asks for nothing in return. I just wanted all of you out there to know that you matter, God loves you, and so do we here at the Amagi. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, consider leaving a comment, giving a like, subscribing if you haven't, and sharing it with your friends. It helps us out a lot, and it helps others enjoy our content as well. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, consider checking out these other videos from our channel. Until next time, my friends, peace out.